Because we're going to have a chance to meet arguably the greatest footballer of all time, Pele. Now, a lot of us, as you can see, very formal. I'm in a suit. Some of you are in suits. Some of you have still got your tie on, even though it's Friday afternoon. I want you all just to relax. If you want to take your tie off, take your tie off. If you want to take your coat off, take your coat off. Okay? Because this afternoon is a very chill session. Okay? We're going to get Harimau Team Malay is right here. Give them a big round of applause. The pride of the nation. And then we've got Mr. Paul Parker, former Manchester United player who's won 2 Premier League titles. Big round of applause for Paul. And then after that, big round of applause for the members of the media for coming down here and supporting our event as well. Big round of applause. Yes, thank you to our media friends and partners for supporting our great event today. So just to let you know how this event's going to work, once in about 30 or 40 seconds, I'm going to welcome the great man Pele. And then after that, it's a little bit like a talk show. Okay? Bit of a talk show, but with not so many live cameras. And then Paul's going to take over, and he's going to be like a very suave host, and he's going to ask Pele a few questions just to get it warmed up. And then straight after that, these guys who idolize Pele and want to be like Pele as well, they're going to ask him questions as well. Most likely, those questions will be in Malay, okay? And then I'll translate it to English. And then after that, we're going to have members of the media ask some questions. And then we have a Twitter account, okay? And a lot of people are tweeting at the moment about this great event, and some questions will come in, and I will ask those questions to Pele. And then after that, we'll have a photograph opportunity with Harimau Team Malaya and Pele, and then that's it for this afternoon. So very chill. Any questions? Okay? So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just check about our guests. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of 3 Football World Cups. He is known, I'm sure many of you don't know this, but his full name is Edson Arantes de Nascimento. Please give it up for the one and only Pele! Come on, big round of applause. He's giving you a wave. And right next to him is our smooth-talking host, Paul Parker. And again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pele the Great Stay Thirsty Team Talk. Over to you, Paul.
Everybody, it's a pleasure for me to be here. I can't believe it. I've been living in Singapore now for 5 years. I'm in and out of Malaysia quite a lot now as well. I'm sitting here with 8 of the national team, and I'm sitting down about to ask Pele questions in Southeast Asia, and I'm from England. It just doesn't seem right at all. But I never saw this great man when I was back in my own country. But anyway, Pele, I'm just going to ask you just something. I don't know, you must have been asked it a lot of times. I'm trying to think the way to say it. Did you turn down the opportunity, or was you never offered the opportunity to ever play in Europe? Because obviously, people looking, did you stay loyal to Santos, or was you never given the opportunity?
First of all, thank you for the beautiful welcome. Nice to meet my future champion of the world here. I hope so. Good luck. I had every month I have one invitation to play in Europe, and then as you know, Real Madrid, Barcelona, the Italy team, always. But I was fantastic in my team, Santos. Santos, that time, was one of the best teams in the world. We used to play all over the world. Santos was 2-time champion of the world by team. And then I say, okay, I was fantastic. I was good in my team, Santos. And I never, wanted to move. I just accept to move the end of my career after 25 years in Santos. Then Mr. Kissinger, the Prime Minister of the United States, he wanted to promote football, soccer in the United States with the New York Cosmos. Then he come to me and say, listen, I know you have a lot of invitation to play in Europe, but we want to promote soccer in the United States.
So Europe missed out on seeing you play, but yet the Americans go and grab you and take you across. Now, you go across, obviously go across the big pond across to play for New York Cosmos. Do you believe that what you went and done in the France, Beckenbauer, George Best, all of you going across to America, do you think that you paved the way for what American football is now?
No, I think that time, Cosmo has one excellent team. What more or less easy to play in New York Cosmo because have a Carlos Alberto, have a Beckenbauer, as you mentioned, we have a Quinalha, Giorgio Quinalha was a great center for. Yeah. It was good to play there. I played 5 years in New York. I think it was a very good experience because the football in the United States, is a good level now. The World Cup in Japan, the United States almost qualified. It was good. I think I helped. We have a school there. I work with clinic and college. For me, it was a very good experience because if my English is bad now, but I learned a little bit in the United States. That was good to me. Was different. My 3-4 years with the New York Cosmos was a good experience. I think we gave a message to the youngsters as we used to do until now.
I remember, was it about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago in Singapore that you and Eric Cantona come into Singapore and you was coming off the back of promoting New York Cosmos, which I think everyone in the UK during the 80s, we didn't know a lot about American football, but all we knew about was New York Cosmos and Pele. Do you think New York Cosmos will at some point start again and play in the MLS?
Listen, good question, because now, again, you have Ronaldo invest in the United States in the league there. I think they started to set up a team again to come back for MLS. I hope so they come back, no doubt.
That's right. I mean, we are seeing now is that a lot of players, like we've seen Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, David Beckham initially kind of went across there to LA Galaxy. I think it's going to come to the point where the Americans are going to say, enough is enough. We want to bring in top players, not players who are at the end of their career in Europe. We want to bring across top players. Do you think the American League could get to that point where they can actually warrant having players, top players at their prime going to play in that league?
Oh yeah, no doubt, because the level of football in the United States is a very good level. What they need maybe to get more experience and play abroad, but it's very difficult to play against American team. They have a lot of good players who play outside from the United States. They play in Europe. They have a player today who is in South America. Then the level is very good. It's the same. You see, the people don't know where about the football in Colombia. Colombia has an excellent football, but they don't win World Cup. They don't win tournament. It's a little difficult to people remember. But the level in Colombia is a very good level. Then you have Argentina, Uruguay, but I think Chile, Peruvian, Bogota, the South America team has almost the same level of the American team.
Yeah, I mean, we don't see a lot of that.
They grow a lot.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of that in this region. But I mean, I was fortunate enough to be in Brazil for the last World Cup, and I saw the Americans play, and they were quite scary. I saw Colombia play as well and saw the strength there, but we don't see enough of them.
But about the World Cup in Brazil, so don't mention that.
No, I wasn't going to go. I promise you I wasn't going to go that far. I was going to stop, and I actually wasn't going to mention the Brazil play as well.
You're right.
Anyway, there's all these Malaysian internationals here who've come along to see you, to greet you, and obviously they've got questions for you as well. So if I can open up the floor for one of the players to maybe ask a question.
Yeah, Paul, what's this? Well, thanks very much. Give a big round of applause for Paul for getting everything going. It's never easy to be the icebreaker and get things going. But right now, before we're going to give our young talents here the opportunity to ask Pele some questions. And then, as you know, the World Cup qualifier is coming up. Gentlemen, inshallah, I thought you go with our best wishes and hopefully you can do the job. You're talking to a man right here who's won 3 World Cups, and the first World Cup at 17, very, very young. So, ask him anything that you want about football. I was just telling them earlier, Pele, this is the man himself. It doesn't get much better than asking the god, the maestro of world football, the celebrity, that belongs to every generation, to quote YB earlier. So ask him anything that you wish. They'll be asking in Malay, and I'll be translating in English. I just want, before I get to that part, how many people have watched the movie Escape to Victory? Okay, I've watched it, I must admit, I've watched it 102 times. And I'll probably watch it another 102 times. Now, our good friend here is not just a fine footballer, but a great actor. I'll tell you a little bit about the movie. It was just about a movie about 2 football teams during the World War. And Pele here, he was acting as a prisoner of war in the movie, and they had to play a football game against an East German team. And then they were talking football tactics. And then during the movie, they said, okay, I think it was Sylvester Stallone in his fake sort of British accent. Oh, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. This is the tactics, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, blah, 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 blah. And then Pele went up to him and said, Sylvester Stallone's name was Hatch. Hatch, right? And then he goes, and then after that, Pele went up to him and goes, Hatch, I don't do that. This is the way I play football. I go like this, like this, like this, like this, and then I score. And then he goes, and then Sylvester Stallone went, no, but you're gonna do this, do this, do this. Hutch, how about I do this and this and this, and then I score? Okay? So, guys, if you want to learn how to score or stop goals like this man, please ask him any question you wish. Any first takers for the first question? Yang soalan yang pertama. Bro. Apa yang question, bro?
Okay, so I would like to ask you, what inspired you to play football?
What inspired you?
What?
What was the inspiration for you to play football?
Oh, the inspiration from... my father was a soccer player, was a center forward. And then has one history very, very important in my life. In Brazil, my father is the best scorer in head goals. He scored in 1 game 5 goals. That was, I even didn't know because I was young. I even didn't know my father was so good in the head. Then, when I started to play football, my father used to teach me, to tell me a lot of tricks, a lot of things. That I think was my base. Then the most important thing who I learned from my father was, he said, okay, play football was a gift of God. This God gave to you. But the most important to be is a good man. This is going to be strong, to be a good man. Football is the gift of a God. Then my father was my inspiration.
Okay, so the lesson there, be a good person first, and then after that, be a good footballer, correct? Yes, okay, that is a very, very good lesson, not just in football, but in life as well. Okay, great question, thank you very much. Ada lagi soalan? Yeah.
After you retired so long, do you miss the way you play football? The way you run, your skill, everything? In the score?
If I miss? No, to score a goal, always we miss. But normally, no, I was not a scorer goal. I used to play as a midfield forward. I was not a strike like Ronaldo, like Cristiano Ronaldo, who play all in front. I have a luck to score a lot of goals and be in the exact time. But my position in Brazil, the national team, in Santos, my team was more midfield forward. But I have a luck to score a lot of goals. Then this was good. I never say, get the opportunity to stay only as a center forward. Or I never stayed there. No? I come from behind.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Good question. Gentlemen, don't be shy. Yeah? This is your moment. We all envy you because you play football every day, but everybody out there envies you more now because you're talking to the great man. So fire away. Like I said, it's a very relaxed session.
Just one time, it was a good question of him because I have a luck to score a lot of goals. Everybody, you play football, you know, of course.
Anyone who knows me knows I never score
Everybody,
goals.
Everybody, he asked, because I score more than 1,000 goals with the best score, everybody think I was a strike. I was center forward, but I was not center forward. I come always from behind.
Who do you think is the greatest players now?
I didn't understand.
So who do you think the greatest player or players? Yang satu atau yang kedua, tiga?
In
Players.
this moment,
Just if you had to put a
in
list
the moment,
at the current football climate, if you had to shortlist a
okay.
couple of the greatest top 3 football players in the world, who would it be?
Okay, it's difficult to say the best one because I saw a lot of good players from a midfield, from a goalkeeper, from defender, because normally the people say, oh, the good player is the forward, always. But in the moment, for me, no doubt, the best player is Messi. Messi, because he is not only the scorer player. He played for the team. No, he give a good pass. Then is a more complete. You know, you have a Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is a good player, but only score. You know, then that sometimes I say because, for example, in my time we have a Beckenbauer, excellent player. You know. Remember George Best, you know, excellent from England, but those players doesn't score. They are midfield back, they more defend. They don't score. People don't remember. Always the good player. They say, oh, the best player, the player who score, like Romario, like Maradona. But sometimes you have one midfield. You have for example, Bobby Moore. Bobby Moore from England was a quarterback. You know, I used to play against him. It's very difficult to play against him. He was one of the excellent players too. That is different. But forwards today, Messi, to me, Lionel Messi is the best player.
Lionel Messi. Okay, he likes to make things very messy for other teams. Okay.
Saya tanya dalam
Biar boleh tak hal.
saya nak tanya apa aspek yang paling penting yang perlu ada dalam pada seseorang pemain bola sepak.
Okay. His question was that what is the most important aspect of the game that a footballer needs to have in today's modern game? Okay, in terms of skills, in terms of character. I mean, not so much characteristics, more so about skills and athletic attributes.
No, today, you know, the football is a more teamwork. You know. You need a lot to have a compact team, excellent team, not only individual player. I think today is the most important is to have a nice formation, nice team, because time ago, the people, the coach, they don't know the other team. For example, Santos, my team from Brazil, used to traveling in Europe and South America, but the people don't have information. Then become easier. But today, the coach, they have all the information TV, they know the team. Then you have to have a very organized team to play because make it easy for the good player, you know. No doubt, I think the most important today is have an organized team. You cannot have just put the power in one player, two players. I think the team is the more important.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Football is a team sport. You can't just rely on one individual player like a lot of many other teams out there have. So it's all about teamwork. Okay, so bila pergi World Cup qualifier tu, ingatkan teamwork ya. Okay. Anybody else for the question?
So I have a luck. No, I have a luck in my career because in Santos, in the Brazil national team, always I have a good players with me. You know. Then I have Rivelino, Tostão in the national team, because I will not score 1,282 goals alone. That because I have always good players who work for me, make me good pass. No, this was important.
1,282, is it? Yeah. How many of you have watched 1,200 minutes of football? I'm getting close. I think I'm at the halfway mark, but a lot more still to go. Okay. Anybody else, gentlemen? Any further questions? Please fire away. Yeah.
How do you play under pressure?
How old?
No. How is the best way to play under pressure? Because these guys are about to go to a World Cup qualifier. It is as pressure cooker as you get. So what's your advice to them to handle the pressure?
I think you have to be prepared and trust yourself, because always the good team, always the good players, they have gonna have a pressure, no doubt, because at most good you are, more the people expect from you. Then you must be very well prepared, physically prepared, be psychologically prepared. I think this is something important to support the pressure. For example, I tell one history. Always I talk about the pressure. I played my first World Cup was in '58 in Sweden. I was 17 years old. Then Brazil was on. That time, everybody asked to me, "Oh, you are so young. What difficult for you because Brazil played the World Cup. You went to the final. Was difficult for you." But I didn't have a problem with the pressure, because the good player was Didi, was Vavá, was Garrincha. They were the player who has the responsibility to win the World Cup. I was one young player was there. No, then I didn't have a big problem to play because it was good. I was there. I was 17 years old. But my 1,000 goal was in Maracanã. It was the end of my career. I was already played almost 20 years. Then my 1,000 goal was a penalty kick. When I want to kick the penalty kick, I start to shake my leg. Because of the responsibility, all the people in the game, in Maracanã, they start to grab the hand and say, go. Before I put the ball on the floor, then I start to shake my hand, because this was the big pressure. You see the difference. I was an experienced player. It was the end of my career. One penalty kick, everybody thinks penalty kick is easy to score. Too easy. Depends of the moment, It was more difficult to me one penalty kick than the World Cup, Fortunately, I score. Was 1,000 goal.
Well, yes, penalties are not very easy. They look simple in training, and they look it, but it's very difficult, especially with goalkeepers these days, moving around, shaking, doing some sort of dance, and trying to put you off.
We have in Brazil, we have one reporter. He said, "No, for the fans, penalty kick is easy to kick, but they have to put a new law. Every penalty kick, the president of the club should kick." Because it's so responsible. Then the president from the club, kick, not the players. No.
So true. Any questions here? Yeah. Yep. My friend?
Which current player do you think have the most similar playing style like you?
With players, the play-
Which current player in the world at the moment has the most similar playing style to to when you were playing football?
I think we have a young player in Brazil now. Start now. Just a little bit older than when I start. I start with 17 now. Neymar have 22. Neymar have almost the same style because he's a good player. He has a good dribble, he has a good pass. But even that, with the compare with experience, even that, I think Messi is the player who very intelligent. The only problem Messi has only one feet. He don't kick with the right feet. No support. But Neymar, I think, could be with the same success.
Okay, fantastic. Ada lagi soalan? Jangan malu lah. Ini Pele ni. Brazil ni jauh tahu tak? Okay. Okay. Tak tahu nak tanya. Tak apa. Nanti lepas ni kalau we're going to take a photo gambar lepas ni, kalau you nak tanya apa-apa soalan kat Pele, boleh juga ya. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our Harimau Team Malaya here. They are off very, very soon for the World Cup qualifier. So all the best to them. So just stay there because we're going to have a photo opportunity with Pele and our team at the moment, the national team at the moment. But now we would like to open the questions to the floor. I'm sure all of you are dying to ask questions. I see Sazay Falak nudging someone across there to ask questions. So just put your hand up if you want to ask a question. Yes? And then and a microphone should be coming to you. Like I said, just be very friendly, ask, say who you are, introduce yourself, and then a question as well. So, okay, if there's no microphone going around, I will be semangat and sporting and lend my microphone. Yeah.
Hi, thank you. My name is Saif. I'm from the Football Association, actually, with the guys. Can I ask a question? Brazil has their own style of play. In Europe, they have their own style of play as well. In Asia, we don't really have a distinct style. What would be your advice in how our national team or teams in this region can compete with the European teams, with the American teams, the South American teams?
It's difficult to say, because each country has own style, but today I think the football is a very universal. You have almost the same style all over the world. If you see some years ago, you see that the Japanese team play was different than South American, from the European. But today, if you see, it doesn't have too many difference because they have the information. I think what is important for the country, for the team in the country, is to have opportunity to play outside, to get experience, because this make the team strong. Because if you have experience to play abroad, to have a different view about the other team, this make the team strong. I think this the style today doesn't change from the one country to other country. Doesn't change too much. Even you see, sometimes you have a coach in South America, is a European coach who work in South America. You see some South American coach who work in Europe. Today is a very, very common. The different mentality stay in one country who's supposed to be more defensive. Before in my time, the European style was much more defensive than the Latin. But today I think is a very similar, no big change. What is important to get experience, to play outside, to have the level of game. This make the team strong.
Good afternoon, Pele.
Um, I learned of the famous story of when your dad cried when Brazil lost to Uruguay when you were just 9 years old. And you made a promise to him saying that, don't worry, Papa, I will win a World Cup for you. So I was wondering how that might have affected your psyche and how important is motivation and support to children or to aspiring athletes?
Yeah, that's it's true what you said. That happened because I didn't know exactly what happened that time because I was young. I was playing with my friends in my house, the house where I used to live. It has a big soccer for my friends there. We didn't know it was a big part. Then when I come to my house, my father with his friends was very very sad, and my father cried. I asked what happened. He say, "Oh, Brazil lost the World Cup." Then I don't know what to say to him. I say, "No, don't cry. I'm gonna win the World Cup for you." I was 9 years old, because it was tremendous disaster in Brazil. Brazil lost the World Cup in Brazil. Then coincidentally, I was there. But I have the same, more or less the same experience. That's the only God that can explain why. Because in the last World Cup, I was with my son in Rio. And then I said, I don't speak, I can't explain that because I say, I saw my father crying. No, now we lost. My son was with myself. My son played in Santos. He was 17 years old. He was with me in Rio for the final. I said, I don't want my son to see me cry. I don't want. Then I went out because so many years later it was the same history. That what happened. The other question you said.
How important is motivation and support to children?
Yeah, I have all the support from my father, as we mentioned before. I think is today, all the children have support from. They have a lot of coaches, have a lot of people who help them, in school and college. But this is a most important thing. Because as I told you here, I learned it from my family. My father, he always used to say to me about to be man, to be big, good person outside from the football. This is said. This is the best thing. Best thing you have to say. Football. This is a gift of God. You're born for football, but you must be a nice person. I think this is the good advice for the youngsters.
Thank you very much.
Okay, how many people can say that, don't worry, Papa, I'll win you a World Cup? I don't think many people in the world can say that. Look, you've got to be very quick in terms of putting up your hands. So I got 2 people there. That's okay, I'll come to you 2 in a minute. And then 3. And then this gentleman here you wanted to ask a question? No, okay, he's your proxy.
Okay, hi Pele. My name is Rafi.
Hello.
Needless to say, I think this is a dream come true for everybody here. I'm just going to make it quick. Now, just now you mentioned that one of the toughest opponents you've ever played against was Bobby Moore, right? Aside from Bobby Moore, who else makes your top 5 of the toughest defenders you've ever played against?
I played a lot of good defenders. I mentioned Bobby Moore. And then Beckenbauer, because I play against Beckenbauer too. Then in Brazil, I have 2 or 3 good players who play against Corinthians. We play tournament there, But I think that these 2, in the whole my career, I have more difficulty. These 2 was Bobby Moore and Beckenbauer. These 2 I remember, was more difficult to play against.
Hello. Hi, I'm from 442 Malaysia. I would ask that some players, they are not technically gifted. Some of them cannot really kick the ball. So I want to know that can hard work alone beat talent?
I don't understand. You understand?
Okay, yeah, Paul, do you want to just explain the question too? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. The question alone is, there's a lot of talented footballers out there. Some of these talented footballers are quite lazy. They're quite malas, they don't want to train, but they're just relying on their talent. But there's a lot of footballers out there, not as talented, but they work extremely hard. So, question from our friend here is, does hard work beat talent? Does the hard-working athlete beat the talented athlete?
No, I think in any profession, you must to work hard. If you want to be a singer, if you want to be a doctor, you have to have a discipline. No, when you have discipline, what you do become easy. I think is more easy to do what you want to do. But we have to respect, no? Who born for be a soccer player, who born to be a doctor, who born to be an artist, who born to be a singer. I think each one have your own talent, but work hard. This every talent should do it. I think to be, precise. I think this is the more important.
Okay, it may be a little bit of a cliche saying, but nothing beats hard work, yeah? So regardless of whether we're in football or life, we just got to keep working hard day in, day out. We're just going to take a little bit of a break from the media question. Don't worry, media, I've still got 1, 2, 3 so far, and 4. So if you do want a question, please put your hand up because, time will be of an essence. We're just going to take a bit of a break because I'm going to ask some questions from Twitter. As you can see there's a big screen going on at the moment. A lot of fans have tweeted into us for this Stay Thirsty campaign, and they're asking questions. Now, this is a non-football question, and this is very much a Malaysian question, Pele. Have you ever tried nasi lemak or durian? Nasi lemak is basically coconut rice, and durian is a special fruit in Malaysia, which most people love, some people don't love. So, have you ever tried nasi lemak or durian?
I think I never tried.
Okay. Okay, one thing that we have...
I don't remember, except if you have another name outside from here or in Brazil, the same fruit, sometimes you have 2 names, but I don't remember to have a try.
Well, next time you're in Malaysia, let me belanja you. Belanja means treat you, a nasi lemak or a durian, but I'm not a big durian fan, so maybe in the durian department, our friends from the media can help you. Okay, they're more Malaysian than me. But back to the football, you mentioned earlier Neymar is a very, very good player. He's got probably the most similar playing style to you. The earlier question was asked by R. Zal MJ, which was about the nasi lemak durian question. This one is from Pujarai, and this question is, who do you think is currently the most promising Brazilian player in the system? This player is probably still at the development stage, but has a lot of promise to hit the heights of world football, international stage and club stage.
Brazil always have good player, good young player. And then I mentioned Neymar because he go with me in Santos. My son was his coach. He could be one of the best players. He didn't have enough experience yet, but he came to Barcelona last year. But the player who has a little more experience, no doubt, we have Oscar. Oscar is not so young, but Oscar is, I think, in Brazil now one of the brilliant players, no doubt. He's the most young player we had there. And the Brazil is, they create a lot of good players. Every year have one good players, but Oscar, no doubt, Oscar has more experience than Neymar.
Fantastic, thank you very much. So Oscar, there's a question right here, and then I'm just going to go to the front 2 rows here, and to the gentleman in the orange shirt at the back. Okay, yes, sir.
I'm from Vietnam. What's your prediction for the upcoming Copa America? When Brazil take the championship?
It's difficult because this is a tournament who have a lot of team in the same level. It's difficult to say. I think, of course, always we believe in the Brazilian team, always. But it's difficult to say who gonna win the tournament or who gonna be in the final. It's very, very difficult. I hope Brazil come in the final.
Okay, there's a question from the gentleman in the white shirt with a hat.
Hello. Alô, como vai?
Oh, muito bem.
Tudo bem.
Oh, obrigado.
Só falo um pouquinho português.
Fala português é mais fácil para mim.
Não.
Now it's easy to answer the question. Português.
Eu prefiro inglês. Okay, 1,200 over goals. I mean, I have not seen 1,200 goals, but of all these goals, right, which one do you really remember? Which was that you think really meant a lot to you? Mais preferé.
Yeah, I mentioned few minutes ago about the important moment in my career, and the important goals in my career, and the goals who sometime, like the penalty kick I mentioned here, was not the final, but was tough to me after I have experience. It was tough to score a goal. But if I have to mention more important goals in my life, was of course the goals who I played in the World Cup. We played final with the Santos. I scored a goal, but no doubt, the goals who I scored in the World Cup was more important because of the importance of the game. For example, my first World Cup, my first goal was against Wales. Brazil won 1-0. Brazil qualified for the final. Then I was 17 years old. I scored a goal. It was very important. But I mentioned before, I was not a experienced player responsible for the win the game. But to me, it was fantastic. If you compare with the last goals who I scored against Italy by head in the final in 70, was most important for me because my first goal was my first World Cup. This goal by head against Italy was my last World Cup. For me, it was important, to finish my career in the national team as a champion. That God gave it to me, the opportunity to score this goal by head, and Brazil was champion. Then we have this different moment in my career, but different importance of the goals. But I have to mention those because the goals who score in exhibition game, sometime as I scored 2 or 3 goals by bicycle kick, people don't remember.
That I remember.
But the bicycle kick, a beautiful game, beautiful goals, it's difficult to score. I scored, but the people just remember the goal who I scored in the World Cup, the 1,000 goal as a penalty kick. But I think it's important in moments. It's difficult to say one, but no doubt the goals who was scored in the World Cup, this is the more important.
Muito.
Okay, just pass the microphone to the back there. There's another gentleman. Yep. So what we'll do, we'll have a question there and a question at the back, and then we've just got some Twitter questions, and then we'll have a photograph opportunity with our national team players and Pele as well. Hold on, I just want to give our guest here. Would you like some water? answering so many questions. It's Jan, you know? You must be very thirsty answering all these questions. Okay, sir, can you ask your question?
All right. My name is Fabian. I'm from NST. Basically, I'm going to ask something in regards to FIFA. Okay.
Sorry, Fabian, I've got to stop you right there, my friend. We are not allowed to entertain questions about that content. So anything related to that particular topic, we'll just have to drop.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind understanding. And question? No? Okay, we'll take the final question from this gentleman with the yellow shirt. And then after that, we will ask a few more Twitter questions and then we'll sort of call it a day, yeah? Everybody? Very good questions, I must say. Very, very, very good questions.
Hello, Pele. My name is Avinish. I'm from The Star. I'm here.
Where you are?
I'm here.
Right there, the guy with the yellow shirt, just like Brazil.
Okay.
Okay, you have played in many World Cups. You have played against many international teams. But then there are some international teams who have not participated in the World Cup, who wants to participate in the World Cup, but they just do not have those capabilities of qualifying for the World Cup. So what kind of advice would you give to these kind of teams, especially Malaysia? You know, the best we have gone is to the Olympics. So what kind of advice would you give to our national team players to, you know, make the step up? Try to go to the World Cup. Try to, you know, be the best in Asia. Your advice?
The advice for the national team.
Just
I think
advice, like the national team's right next to you right here, so you don't have to travel too far to give them advice. So, but people who want to be like the national team players, people who are currently national team players, like these fine gentlemen on the left, what advice would you have for them to answer this gentleman's question?
You ask, I think for the national team, the best advice is to have opportunity to play abroad, to get experience, to play outside from your country, because it's a different, you know, emotion. It's different, you know, if you start to have a team from outside to get, you know, to understand better, because sometimes the team is very good in your own town or your own country, but when you start to play outside, to know different, you know, style of football, to know different of even sometimes different people, no? This make the team get strong, because for example, I'm gonna tell one quick story, more or less about this experience. When we play in Brazil against Peru, against Paraguay, Brazil, Paraguay, it's different. But when we play against Argentina in Argentina with the crowd, it's a different experience. When we play against Uruguay, in Uruguay, it's different because you have a different style of crowd, players. I think it's important for the national team and make some you know, extra games outside from your country.
Okay, and final question, Ian from The Star. Yes, Ian?
Hi, Pele. Ian from The Star, yes. My question is, the game has changed so much. It's a game that you love, the beautiful game. Is there something in the game today that you absolutely hate? I don't know, whether it's the football agents, whether it's the money. Is there one thing you hate about the game today?
You talk about outside of the football, who I hate, or inside of the football, inside of the field?
Anything. Diving on the field, money off the field, whatever it is.
Yeah, inside of the field, I hate it when the referee is not correct. No doubt. Outside of the field today, some countries still, you know, acting with the big fights, with the bad things. I think the football is to put people together, to enjoy the game. And unfortunately, certain people, certain country, you still have, you know, some of bad people who goes to create problem. I think, but fortunately, all over the world, you have very few, you know, bad people in the football. Football is, no doubt, is the biggest sport in the world to put people together, no doubt.
Okay, thank you to our friends from the members of the media for asking those questions. We're just going to wrap it up with a couple more questions from Twitter. As you can see here, there's a live Twitter account as we speak there, hashtag 100 plus Ask Pele. So if you want to hashtag anything, take photos or do anything like that, please, with that particular hashtag to put it on Twitter or on social media, hashtag 100 plus Ask Pele. So we've got 3 questions, Pele, 3 final questions. One is from Bahe Yusuf. And this question is, today, if you were still playing football today, which football player would you love to have played with at the moment, the current group of talent around in world football? Is there any particular
play
one?
with?
Yeah, play with as a teammate.
Have
Apart from the Brazilian national team, of course, Yeah.
Have a lot of good players. Oscar.
Okay.
Oscar, he running for everybody. He used to running for me a little bit. We have, I mentioned, Messi, Lionel Messi. I like Xavi. For is a good player who organized. And then Cristiano Ronaldo be good because he's a good scorer. We have a lot of players who today you could say, okay, it's nice to play against him, but you must be prepared now. Must be to have a training, be prepared to play together. We have a lot of good players.
Now, we also talk about football all the time, and we all know that football mainly is about scoring goals, but football is about stopping goals as well. Now, in terms of where I'm going with this is defender. Which defender do you think would be the hardest to face up against in today's game? You spoke about players like Messi, Ronaldo, Xavi. They're more attacking players.
Mascherano, I know Mascherano because I
Javier.
saw him there. I think he's one of the tough defenders.
Okay, an Argentine international. And the final question. Now, how does it feel to be known as one of the greatest players of all time? I mean, there's a very famous acronym in sport. It's called GOAT, not the animal goat, but G-O-A-T, greatest of all time. And to many, not just in this room, but billions of football fans around the world, as the greatest of all time. So this question is from Sarah Alia. The earlier 2 questions was from Bahi Yusuf. So Sarah Alia is asking, what's it like to be known as the greatest of all time in football, the sport on this planet?
I think this only God can explain to you, but what I learned from my father was always to respect people, respect your opponent, and then never think you are the best. You think all the time you have something to learn. Never think you know everything. That's what my advice from my father. That's what I do until now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't being rude. I wasn't checking my personal SMSs when I was checking my phone. I was checking about the live tweets that are coming in thick and fast. So at the moment, we have no more Twitter questions, but they will be coming in thick and fast. So please feel free to share that hashtag with us earlier. Hashtag 100 plus Ask Pele. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysian national team, members of the media, friends, guests, please give a big round of applause for the greatest of all time, the greatest footballer. Well, every generation, Pele.
Obrigado.
I would now like to invite Harimau Team Malaya, as well as Pele, to the center stage for a photo opportunity. I'd like to invite all our friends from the members of the media to just go in the middle right there to position yourself for a photograph opportunity. Okay. Okay, are we done? Everybody done? Fantastic. Media members? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formalities for this afternoon for the Pele the Great Stay Thirsty Team Talk. My name is Ben Ibrahim, and it's been a pleasure to be your MC. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Okay, if you're thirsty, keep drinking 100 plus, yeah? It is a great drink. Now, I would now like to invite all the members of the media and Harimau Team Malaya with Pele to Hall 2 and 3. We're going to have another opportunity right there as well. Okay? While Harimati Malaya takes a big selfie here with the greatest of all time. Take this photo right here. This is historical moment right here. Hopefully that's a good omen from when these guys go for the World Cup qualifiers. Such a humble man, such a nice man. Remember what Pele said, be a good person first and then be a good footballer second. Okay, let's slowly, members of the media, let's slowly go to Hall 2 and 3.